My biggest thing as far as the state of boxing, and it kind of plays into more so how the sanctioning bodies are. I feel like they create the atmosphere that I want to go into with this whole, the face of boxing and the boogeyman of boxing type of conversations that that these fighters kind of use as a narrative to pick certain competition. What I'm saying by that is like you have some who go off, they say they're the boogeyman, they're the boogeyman of the division or the boogeyman of boxing. Nobody wants to fight them. From all my years of watching boxing, that term has meant um, high risk, low reward. I can give you numerous examples. You got Antonio Tarver, who played that role. He didn't reap the rewards of it. He's still trying to validate himself to this day as far as his place in boxing history. You have Boo Boo Andre. Dude name is literally Boo Boo from people being in fear to fight him. And look how his career is going. Like it's the man literally used said he was the boogeyman of 154, and he pulled out of a fight with Jamel Charlo on fight week. And that turns out to be, for financial reasons. But if you're the boogeyman, money shouldn't be that part of the equation. And that's why it's a fine line between the face of boxing and the boogeyman of boxing, because it all comes down to money. Is why I say I don't like the terminology, because it always ends up going back to who did he fight? Who did he fight? Keith Thurman did the don't duck me, don't duck me, don't duck me, thun, don't duck me, thun. He did that, and when it came down, to fight Errol Spence and to see the fights we want to fight, see him fight, you know, Danny Garcia came up and weight. He hopped in the ring on Danny. Earl walked up on him. Put a quarter on it. Maybe a 20-20. We can get a bout in. Like it was just it was a big charade. As far as the face of boxing goes, I have an issue with that, because when people start calling themselves the face of boxing, they abuse it. They don't end up fighting the best. They fight they take the path of least resistance usually. They start picking and choosing and cherry picking opponents and try to use that as leverage, because they're selling big, and they have a big fan base that supports them, which I have no issue with. But your fan base should want to see you fight the best and want to see you, you know, become a legend in their lifetime, so they can tell their kids and grandkids they seen a legend, in the sport when they were, growing up. That you shouldn't want to have to protect your fighter. Like the man fight, these people fight for a living. You should want them to reap the rewards of taking on the best. You know what I'm saying? See who the best. Even if they lose a couple, when the best fight the best, you're going. Somebody has to lose, and that's what a lot of fans, I feel like, play into this, and it's like to what Tim said, like the fighters try to downplay it and say that they don't watch YouTube and this and that, but they know what's going on YouTube. They're well aware of what's going on YouTube, and they use a lot of our narratives and talking points as coping and caping mechanisms, because they don't want to deal with the fact that we want to see certain fights. But as long as their core fan base is caping and giving them narratives, ways to spin the narrative, they'll run with that. The next time they have an interview, person may come and make a whole narrative out of nowhere saying that proof that such and such is not ducking anyone, and it'll be a whole smoke and mirror 10-minute video about a bunch of nothing, a bunch of narrative pushing, and you hear these fighters in these interviews and press conferences saying things that I've heard YouTubers say for like 3-4 years, like, and know exactly where it came from, and these fighters start to say it. So I'm like, man, it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that stuff is happening. They know where to go get their information, some of their information from, and their talking points, because they're pandering to their audience. It's no different than politicians. And that's how I look at it. You got the man of boxing, and you got the boogeyman of boxing. That's that man. Their heads are the same coin to me. Their heads are the same coin. I don't have an issue with a person necessarily calling themselves the boogeyman of boxing if they're going to fight everybody. If they're going to fight everybody, you got the David Benavidez and the David Morrell situation going on right now. They call like Mike Tyson said, the Mexican monster. I want to see the Mexican monster fight David Morrell. Like it shouldn't be it shouldn't be anything about, oh well, we need this, we need that, we need this certain type of money. No, we're looking at this fight now. If he's the boogeyman, he's the monster. I want to see him fight a guy who says, "Hey, I want to take that monster on." And that's what my thing is when my irritation more so is for the boogeyman narrative, because it always ends up coming somebody coming up under them, and they want to demand a certain amount of money to fight that opponent, but you're the boogeyman. When did you become the businessman? And I've seen every fighter do it to some degree. All of them do it, but all of them use that as a talking point to try to bolster. I feel like the I guess their reputation in the sport. Since they can't call themselves the face of boxing or the man of boxing, they go with the boogeyman because they feel like that's the low hanging fruit. I can just call myself the boogeyman since I can't get these fights. It's just easier for me to call myself the boogeyman. Like, no, do what's necessary, and the people that want to see the best fight the best, those are your true fans, even if they don't necessarily root for you exclusively. If we want to see the best fight the best, then I'm a fan of boxing. So of course I'm a fan of you by simply because you're one of the best. I don't care if you have 2 or 3 losses. If you're one of the top guys in your division and you have an opportunity to knock that number one guy, whether he's undefeated or got all the titles or not, I want to see you fight too. I want to see you fight him too, because styles make fights. You never know what may happen. Like prime example, the Teofimo and the Josh Taylor fight. I didn't think Teo had much of a chance in that for numerous reasons. Stylistically, I just didn't think his style would match up well with Taylor to more than anything. Regardless of all the antics and his back and forth and people talk about his mental state, I just didn't think stylistically it would work. But when the best fight the best, somebody had to lose. It turns out T.O. style trumps Josh Taylor's style. That's the kind of interesting and the kind of treats that we get when the best fights the best. But other than that, it's just you going around calling somebody the boogeyman, or this is the man of the division. What has he done to fight him? Who did he fight? Like that, it always it's a bunch of circular talking points that you get to. Then all of a sudden, people are fighting their sparring partners and stuff next. Like, what did his sparring partner do to get a fight with him? Like it's just one of those things in boxing, like I say. And I understand why it's done by some fans. You got some extreme, hardcore, fanatical fans that just they try to protect their fight. I know where it comes from, but if you call yourself a fan of boxing, that shouldn't be one of your talking points. Who has he fought? That shouldn't matter if it's the best fight in the best. Now, if it's a guy that come out of nowhere, number 30 ranked in the division, or not ranked in any sanctioning body at all, and he comes up, all of a sudden that's the next opponent for you. Like, no, that's what should be in question. You shouldn't be protecting him, saying, he couldn't get the fights. Nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him. Like, no. Like we've heard all of that before, bro. None of these fighters are scared of each other, man. They spar, they fight. These guys do this stuff for a living, man. They just want to be paid adequately and supported the right way. And that's why I say I feel like if we support them the right way, we'll get rid of a lot of the quote unquote ducking that we call it and all this other stuff, because we have to support them. We have to go out and buy these guys fights. We have to watch their fights. We have to show support when the time is needed. Then we'll get the big fights like they used to in the they talk about in the golden era of boxing, like in the 80s and stuff like that. The reason why they call it the golden era of boxing is because all the best were fighting each other. Maybe with the exception of a few, but majority of them were fighting each other. The matchups were being seen. So I feel like that's what has watered boxing down in our era. And I feel like I feel like Floyd Mayweather and De La Hoya had a lot to do with that. They actually fought the best. Don't get me wrong. De La Hoya fought everybody. Floyd fought everybody, pretty much everybody. But once they got to that status of I'm the man of boxing, the face of boxing, the politics got involved. And I feel like people more so glorified the politics that they were that they illustrated more so than them grinding their way to the top. So that's pretty much my spiel on it, man. I want to I if there was anything I could get rid of, I just want to get rid of the reasons for the best not fighting the best, man. With this boogeyman talking, with this, the face of boxing talk. I want to see Tank Davis fighting Shakur or Devin Haney next. I don't want to hear anything about him. Hey, man, he just got out of jail, man. He going to fight Pitbull Cruz next. He can do that because he's a star. He the face of boxing. Like, nobody should be excited to watch Tank Davis fight Pitbull Cruz again at all, So that's my spiel on it.
And man, Ron, I want to piggyback off of you real quick. I know we're trying to get out of here, but I want to make this a point, man. The way you said, we should support these fighters, man, and buy these fights, man. But part of this, man, I got to put part of this onus on the fighters too. And I want you guys to understand this, man. I really want you guys to hear me out, man. All these major networks, they do not, they don't show boxing the way that they show other sports. They show, ping pong, they show golf, and they show hockey on a replay. For me, boxing is my favorite sport. And we don't see those things on the major networks. And I feel like most guys, they chase that interview with ESPN or they chase that interview with Fox FS1. Man, I probably see more. I seen a dog show on FS1, man. I don't even see boxing on there, bro. I know you guys a lot of times don't like the YouTubers and you guys don't want to, you guys think that they're biased and things like that, bro. Man, ESPN is biased. If you look at some of those sports shows, they're biased when it comes to fighters. I mean, heck, even ring announcers are biased. You know what I'm saying? But you guys still deal with them, man. The only place that you can go and get constant boxing news is from YouTube, man. I wish you guys would embrace YouTube a little bit more. And your fans are going to go look for you guys, man. The only place that they talking about boxing constantly is on YouTube. So I wish you guys would kind of embrace. I wish the YouTubers and boxers would kind of embrace each other, man, a little bit more, and also should just interact with the fans even a little bit more. You guys don't have to give interviews or anything like that, but maybe create a channel or something like that to where you can get fans to come out and buy your fights, and in that way you guys don't have to worry too much about, they gotta come with the money because you got the fans to back it. Your YouTube numbers is $2 million, $3 million, man. There's no reason why Jake Paul is making all this money. He's a YouTuber off of your sport, and you guys can't do the same thing. And you guys say, oh, we businessmen, it's boxing and then it's business, it's the business of boxing. Well, part of the business of boxing is growing your fan base, man, and that's part of it, man. I know, we're definitely your hardcore fans are going to support you, and we love to see boxing, but you want the casual fans to come over. Casual fans is going to need something more than you guys just boxing. Just like, Peyton Manning and all those guys, they're on commercials. I don't see a lot of boxers on commercials. They don't know you guys' faces, man. So like I said, I wish you guys would embrace YouTube, get out a little bit more, talk to some of these guys, because all it takes is, some of those YouTubers, some of us, having a million fans or 100,000 fans, and if at least half of 100,000 fans go buy your fight is $80 a fight, while you're on pay-per-view, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of revenue, or at least half of them go buy your merchandise off of your website. That's a lot of money, man. So I just kind of want to, talk to the boxers about, some of the things that maybe that could help the sport out. Actually, you guys getting out and talking and seeing people. Because at the end of the day, it's more than just sports; it's a business, and that goes for every sport that you see on TV. It's more than sports; it's a business, man. You see LeBron on, I see him on Taco Bell commercials and all this other stuff, and all. So, if a guy like that, that's the biggest face in the world probably right now with sports, or Ronaldo, the soccer player, they do more than just sports. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's just my spiel on it. I could talk about that for a little bit more, man. But I wish you guys just, I hope you guys, just do a little bit more than just being a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Because as is your sport, as much as I love the sport, it's definitely your sport, man. And I'm just trying to give pointers to it. Maybe, you know, the business is not all about making the fights, but what I know a lot of times probably in those negotiations they looking at y'all numbers and what do y'all get y'all fans from, and that I'm just bringing up a way that probably you probably could get more money based off of your following and YouTube and Instagram, and so that's just my spiel on there, fellas.
Man, and to drive your home your point, Tim, of what you said, Jake Paul is making all that money, and what is he?
A YouTuber.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, man. I think we cooked on these enough, man. Yeah, man. That's everything we pretty much got for this one, man. We gonna catch you guys the next time, man. We out.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, all right.